Ben, I'm so sorry we're talking to you under these circumstances. How are you doing?
I'm okay. It's the people out there that are not okay. Like, I was able to get back to my apartment safely. I'd say, like, I'm literally one of the most privileged people when it comes to this situation. I was walking out of Thagard. I had an appointment there, and then I'm just walking back to my apartment. I'm next to Stroger, and I see these like two guys running. I'm just like, I think it's an altercation just between them two, and then
Mm.
the guy in front is like, "Yo, there's a school shooter. Everyone get inside." And that's like when me and the people around me start to realize that this is serious. So we all like bust into Stroger. You have to like swipe your ID to get in past these like gates, but there's like push past them. I've never been in like a school shooting situation before. I thought, where's the safest place where you go? I go to the elevator and I try to go as high as possible. There's 5 floors, but it only brings me to the third floor. I get out the elevator and like the staff lounge door is open for a second. I was like, I feel like that would be the safest place to go. And I step in, like, you can't be here. I'm like, there's literally a shooting right now. Let me take cover. And then it's just me and 3 other people. They're faculty for about like an hour or so. And we're just like getting information piece by piece. We don't know how serious the situation is. And then we started to like hear the alarms and all the sirens. And we're able to like, we get a really good view of Landis Green. And like, that's where a lot of stuff happening. We saw this like girl get carried by police and like just like kids with like hands on their heads, like getting escorted into the library. And it's so serious. And from there, the fire department eventually came in and said, like, okay, we're going to escort you to Reynolds, which is just like some other building on campus. And from there, I was able to walk home safely. But I know right now there's kids who are still in classrooms. There's kids who like got injured or being sent to the hospital. Like the fact that I'm being interviewed right now is crazy because I mean, I posted on social media and that's how you guys contacted me. But there's kids with like real first eyewitness accounts that I wasn't able to have. Like the closest I was able to like receiving any account of the situation was as soon as that guy said, "Oh, there's a shooting," when I was right by Stroger Library, I heard a gunshot in that very moment, and that's when I knew to run.
How close in proximity is the lounge that you took shelter in from the student union?
It's like a 2-minute walk. Like the library and the union are very close together. So I knew that I was in a very dangerous place, but like the staff lounge doors are really made of glass. Like anyone could break into that moment, but just like you have to swipe a card to get into the staff lounge, but still it's made of glass. Like if a shooter wanted to get in, they would. But I don't know. I just felt really safe there, and I thank the faculty that let me stay with them as I the only student in there.
As your instinct in that moment. You had mentioned you saw a girl being carried by police. Did you notice any visible injuries?
I really couldn't see that clearly. I mean, I was like on the third floor in Stroger. This was happening on ground level, and I just see like they're all like yelling like "Help her now!" or like "Get this medic!" and like it was just like a crazy hectic moment. I was just like seeing it with my own eyes, and this whole situation, I feel like I'm not a very sensitive person, but like when I got back home, I like got sent videos of like in group chats with my friends of like dead bodies just like near the student union, which I go to every single day. And like that's where it really like hit me.
We
And
do have
I'm
to be
just so
careful, Ben. We haven't confirmed any fatalities, but I do appreciate you giving us a little bit more information that you've seen videos in your group chat. No, it's okay. I mean, we're working on confirming that information, and certainly you giving us information on what you're seeing on your phone is helpful as we do that work to do that journalistically. You had mentioned that police had gone into the teachers' lounge where you were seeking shelter with, I believe you said, 3 other faculty members. Was it your understanding that police were going building by building to clear and bring people to safety, and that's what they had done when they reached you?
yeah. So as soon as like we saw like people try to enter the staff lounge, the glass isn't that clear, but we were able to tell that like those are people helping us. And earlier when we just like were looking out the windows to see what was happening, we saw just like a bunch of like police enforcement and stuff like that with big guns just like standing outside Stroger Library. Like we knew Stroger Library was safe. So like when people approached us, we knew that's like they're gonna evacuate us.
I know that you had
And
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, another moment, I don't know if I mentioned, but, like, one of the faculty members was crying, just being like, "I'm so scared, I wanna go home," and we all hugged, which is a really sweet moment, just showing you how severe the situation is.
Yeah, certainly the fear. It really describes the fear. I mean, was there anything that you guys were talking about in that lounge to comfort one another?
I mean, just the uncertainty of it all.
Yeah.
Like, I just hear from a guy saying school shooting, you don't have to tell me twice. I'm running in the building right then and there. But just like as the hours have been going by, it's like you hear more and more stuff, and it's just like sickening. Like a school shooting, I personally, high school, grew up in a very like privileged neighborhood, like Cresskill High School. Like you would never think a school shooting would ever happen there, and but like you hear about it all around the country. And I know like FSU is like a really big college, and so many students, like anything could happen. But it's like a school shooting is like that thing that you hear about, but you really don't absorb the situation once it finally happens to you. And I see that's what a lot of people are probably going through today.
Ben, do you guys ever have active shooter drills where university police or administration talk to students and faculty about what to do in the event of such a tragedy?
I don't think so. I actually know that there was a shooting at Stroger in like maybe 2014, like around that ballpark. I'm not 100% sure. I know that there's been a shooting here before, but active shooter drills, I can't recall ever being in one of those. Like high school, we've always had like code yellow, just like lockdown drills where it's like you hide in like a corner for 5 minutes, but nothing to actually prepare you for what to do when there's like, especially when you're at college campus, it's different. Like my high school is just like a building. There's no other buildings to go to, but it's like when you're outside and you hear there's a shooter, it's like you don't, should you go inside? Should you go home? Like who knows?
Ben, I know that you said you're not a super emotional person, but clearly this is rattling for anybody. I mean,
Yeah,
what are you thinking and feeling in this moment?
right now I'm just thinking like I am so like I'm on the news right now. There should be many other people on the news talking about like what they saw and like serious stuff, but I'm a person who posts on social media a lot. That's how you guys reached out to me.
I also
And I
wouldn't
literally,
downplay your experience. What you went through is still traumatic.
yeah, no, I'd say definitely traumatic, but I know there's definitely going to be other people who are going to be taking months to get over this. Like as I was running the library, I see this girl like hyperventilating, and I'm just
Mm.
like, it must be so scary for her because she's clearly showing it.
Is there anything else you think we should know, Ben?
Um, I just hope that everyone is safe, and I'm so sorry for those who are lost. Like, there's literally families right now who like sent their kids to college, and this is what's happening
Yeah.
with their money that they paid for this kid, or even students are paying out of pocket. Like, just so many scenarios where people lost a loved one today, and I'm just on the news interviewing. It's like that could have been me. That could have been anyone. I want everyone to be so fortunate that they're safe right now if they're safe.
Ben Matesman, I'm so sorry again that we're talking under these circumstances, but I appreciate you giving us your time. I appreciate you giving us such open and honest answers, and we hope that you continue to stay
Thank you
safe.
so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, we are back now here at CBS News 24/7. You were just listening to our partners from CBS News Miami. The latest to come out of that shooting at Florida State University. We know 6 people injured. We're told 1 person is in critical condition, the others in serious condition. Right now, I want to bring in Ryan Cedergran. He is a student at Florida State University, just to get much more from him about what happened. Ryan, first off, I'm sorry that this happened at your campus. I just kind of want to know what happened in the moments that all of this unfolded. What do you know? What are you hearing from friends?
Yeah, I was in the student union at the time and in the bowling alley. And so our student union, there's the main floor and then there's the lower level. The bowling alley is on the lower level. And the lower level has a bowling alley, and then we have doors, and then next to it is a bar. And the bar is open to the entire union where there's no doors. It's just kind of an open space. And all of a sudden, everyone in the bar area started running. And that was when we all kind of were like, this isn't normal. This isn't right. We need to go do something.
And so, Ryan, I just want to be clear here. You were in that student union building because we're hearing that the shooting happened either around there or inside that building. So you were in that building at the time?
I was, yes.
And so did you hear any gunshots, or you just saw students running and decided, okay, there's something going on here?
Yeah, I didn't hear any gunshots. My first instinct was something's not right here, and we need to, go shelter somewhere because everyone immediately running is not normal.
Yeah. And Ryan, where are you right now? Were you able to get out of that student union building and head back to somewhere else on campus? Where are you?
I'm back in my apartment now, yes.
And have you heard anything from your friends? We know several people, sadly, have been injured in this. One of them is in critical condition. Have you heard anything from your friends? Anyone that you're concerned about right now?
I mean, off the top of my head, I don't know of any friends that were in the building at the time. Um, but I do know that, we just went and protected ourselves, and I've had so many people reaching out to me because the student union, I worked in the student union. I spent a lot of time there, and I wasn't on shift at the time, but I was, just hanging out there along with a lot of other people at the time. It's the hub of campus. It's a union.
And Ryan, I completely hate to say this because oftentimes we hear about school shootings, whether it's at a university or high school, elementary, and you just imagine, well, that sounds super far away and that will never happen to me. I want to know what's going through your head right now. How are you feeling after all this?
Yeah, some of it's a state of shock. There's that going on, and then there's shock, there's gratitude. I could not be more grateful for being here, and then also for the first responders, the Florida State University Police, the Tallahassee Police. I was calm, I think, throughout most of it. There were people around me that were panicking, but I just was like, I trust that Florida State Police is going to be here within a matter of moments, and just do what I can and now to be safe, and then just wait for police to come help us out.
Ryan, can you take me back to that moment? I know you said you saw, it sort of just sounded like commotion. You didn't hear any gunshots, but you saw people running out. What did you guys do? Did you run out of the building, or were you hoping that maybe police officers would show up and tell you guys what to do next?
We immediately hid. We first hid in the billiards room of the bowling alley, which is glass. It's open to the front, but it's kind of around the corner, so we were able to kind of almost put another wall between us and the outside, but it was also glass. So once we saw police get down to the lower level was when we went and hid further behind the bowling machines, which, has doors that we're able to lock. And then it was probably about 10-15 minutes until the police came and escorted us out of the building.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, you guys did not run out of the building. You ran somewhere else to shelter in place and waited for police officers to come lead you out of the building.
We did not. We did not know what was going on. So in the moment, we were just like, we know we're safe here. Let's protect ourselves first, and then go from there.
And can you talk to me about the security situation at that union building? Because typically, of course, you have police on campus. Most campuses have police officers, but that building, do you typically see security officers around the place roaming?
There are police around a good bit of the time. It's not always, but it's a good bit of the time that we'll see them just going in and out of the union. And then we, the headquarters for the police is minutes away. It's in a hub of campus, so they're, if they're not in the building, they were, close enough to the building, and it was within, a few minutes, I believe, that they were on scene, and I'm just so grateful to them.
Yeah. And Ryan, I know you posted on X right after this happened. What did you say there? And what, I suppose, what made you feel the need to, express yourself about what you were going through? We're looking at that post right now.
It was just, I'm so grateful to be safe, and just to let people, my friends and family, know that I am safe and I'm okay. And, it was just, a moment of like, I can't thank FSU Police and Tallahassee Police enough.
Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. I know this was a very, very difficult situation for you. We really appreciate it right now.
About what happened?
Yeah, I was in class, and it was about 1 o'clock, and the shots rang out, and we were like, is that construction going on, or what was happening? And so we got up, looked out the window, and I remember looking outside and hearing 5 more shots go off, and I was like, what's going on? So I saw kids running away from the student union, And I walked away from the window, then I walked back to the window and heard 6, 7 more shots ring out. And at that point, we were like, okay, there's a shooting going on. So we ran from our classroom, went to the offices, locked the doors, barricaded ourselves in there, and then we waited and was looking out the window again and saw the SWAT teams pull up, the police cars, the FBI come, and at that point, we were like, okay, we got to bunker ourselves in. And we were praying, we're like, okay, something's got to change here. And the SWAT team came into the room. They're like, stay where you are, don't move. And we were in there for about 30 minutes. And at that point, we were escorted out. About 100 SWATs were inside the building, and our hands were up. And so then we were escorted outside past the Union and then into a safe space.
What was going through your mind when all this was unfolding?
Yeah, I was completely in shock. I didn't think this could happen at Florida State. I mean, we're a pretty safe campus, but yeah, this is just like unheard of to me. I never had been in a school shooting before, an active shooter. This is like first time for me, and I was honestly in shock. My hands were shaking. Just adrenaline kicked in, and I really didn't know what to do. I started tearing up. Just like I was scared, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you just saw, you just heard the shots. You didn't see anything.
Yeah, I didn't see the shooter, but I saw the kids running away. I heard some screaming. Yeah, and the shots, like 3 rounds of like 5 shots, and then 7 shots. So it must have been some back and forth going on. Yeah.
Yeah. And how are you doing now?
Good. I've recovered a lot. A lot of people have been texting me. People from out of state, University of Michigan friends have been texting me. People from South Florida have been texting me. People from high school have been texting me. Doing a lot better. It's been a great community that has surrounded me since then. I definitely didn't think I'd be traumatized as much as I have. Definitely not being on the scene, but being kind of away from it. But yeah, it's been scary. So I'm doing a lot better now. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Is there anything that you wish would have happened differently?
Yeah, no, I think the police responded very quickly. I think they did a great job. Yeah, I don't really know what could have happened. Maybe there's more police presence at certain areas for there not to be a shooter. I mean, I think that's just like the most obvious thing, but yeah.
All right, anything else you want to add? Anything maybe missed?
No, that's great.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
In like the stairwell, I was in the library between like the 4th and 5th floor, and like people started flooding up the stairs, but like nobody told me what happened. So then I started walking back up to the 5th floor. By the time I got there was like these girls, and like it was just chaos. Everyone was like, there's like a shooter and stuff. And so like these guys started like pressing the elevator button to have the elevators come up and like put tables in the walkway to like block anyone from getting on the elevator. And then like some other guys like closed the doors to the 5th floor and then put tables and stuff there. But we were all like kind of panicked. I was like freaking out and shaking a lot, but for some reason I just had a peace. And part of that is like because I'm a Christian, and I think Jesus gave me peace in the midst of a chaotic situation. You know, people use free will for whatever they want to do. And so like it's very heartbreaking, but I hope that, you know, like God is brought through this and that people would maybe seek him out through it. But yeah, I was with actually a few of my friends, Nick and Allison. I was studying for an exam. But yeah, it was chaos. We were standing up there, and then we actually were by the windows. So like at the windows, we saw cops running, students running. It was just like complete chaos. Everyone was like running all over the place. And then we saw like a gurney, and then like the gurney came back, and the guy had his arm cut off, and I think like he was bleeding, and like he had like bandages and stuff. And so like that was really hard to see. Yeah.
I can only imagine what was going through your head when you were kind of realizing that there was a shooting on your campus.
I mean, when I saw everyone flooding up the stairs, I kind of thought that like the shooter was like in the library. I mean, like nobody told me where it was. They said like Landis or like whatever, and I was just in utter disbelief. I was like, you never think that it's gonna be like you and your campus, but you really never know. So it was just, it felt surreal. But yeah.
How are you doing now?
I'm doing okay. I mean, there's other people who are doing probably a lot worse than me, so I'm just like mourning for those people because I feel really bad. But other than that, like just waiting to like get my stuff back. My car is in one of the garages that they like locked down. So yeah, I don't have any of my stuff, so I'm just waiting for that. Yeah.
Anything else you want to add? Anything may have missed?
In the midst, okay, I'll look at you.
Yeah.
Okay. In the midst of chaos, like the Creator, God, gives peace under all circumstances, and He seeks to have a relationship with everyone. And so, like, look to Him for the source of questions and answers. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
I have on the line Dominic Mancuso. And Dominic, you're a student there at Florida State. Tell us where you were when you heard what was happening.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I was at the Leach Student Recreation Center, which is basically the gym here at Florida State. I was just in the middle of a workout. I had my headphones in, and then all of a sudden I see people just like start running, and I hear the intercom going like very loud. I take out my earbuds, and they start saying active shooter, active shooter. Everybody get to the locker rooms, so everybody's running. And in the midst of all this, I'm trying to stay calm, so I'm trying to like address the situation, ask around what's going on, and yeah, so we find out there's an active shooter at the student union, which is about 10 minutes from the Leach. So we kind of all had an idea that we were pretty safe at the time. But, there was about me and 10 other guys in the locker room. We went to the faculty locker room, and, there's a lot of texting going on. I personally didn't have any connection, so I couldn't make any phone calls, only to my mom and my dad I was able to get on the phone with and tell them what's going on. But after about an hour and a half, there's a bunch of videos going around. Like, nobody really knows what's going on, like how many people are dead, how many people are injured. But all we know right now is that we're all safe. The SWAT had come to get us about after an hour and a half. They evacuated all of us, and I think we're currently being transported to the Civic Center. But yeah, we're all safe. The SWAT came in, they did their job. So yeah, but it's just been an absolute shock to all of us.
Dominic,
to go through something like this, we never would have expected.
Dominic, what was going through your mind when you're at the gym working out, a nice day there in Tallahassee, and all of a sudden you get this news? What went through your mind?
Yeah, so one thing my dad taught me as a kid was no matter what everybody else is thinking, always remain calm. So that was the first thing I thought of: just stay calm, relax, address the situation properly, take it step by step, because like everybody's screaming their heads off, like everybody's in a big commotion. But I just wanted to be level-headed and yeah, take it step at a time, because I knew that it was 10 minutes away. So the fact that the chances of a shooter coming like 10 minute walk would be pretty insane.
So did you guys lock yourself in a room? You stayed inside the gym. What did you do?
Yes. So they moved us to the locker room, but the actual locker room doors didn't have locks on them. But the staff had locked the entire building, so there was no way that the shooter or an invader could come into the building.
Did you check in? Have you checked in with your friends there in Tallahassee, fellow students, see how they're doing?
Yes. I got a couple of phone calls, but like I said, I didn't have any connection, so I was unable to get in touch with them at the time of the event. But now that I'm outside, I have connection. I'm reaching out to everybody, and everybody's saying they're safe, they're in their dorm. But yeah, just a lot of commotion, but it seems to be settling down.
Sure. And describe that moment when you were actually able to connect with your friends or family and loved ones and tell them that you were okay. What was the conversation that you had?
Yeah, well, I mean, my mom and dad were the first ones I spoke to on the phone with. So I told them, everything's going to be fine. We're safe in here. But yeah, like connecting to everybody, just to see that everybody was reaching out, honestly, was really a great thing to hear, that people still have your back, especially in these type of moments, because a lot of people, you think in these like moments of adrenaline rush, it's just like I need to take care of myself. But everybody, it's good to know that people are still careful about each other.
You talk about that moment of adrenaline rush, but you were on the treadmill, you had your earpods in. Did you immediately know what was happening was real, or was there a sort of moment where you thought maybe it was just a drill?
Yeah. So for like a split second, when I saw everybody running, I was thinking fire drill immediately, because I actually didn't hear them say active shooter at first, but I quickly heard, like I literally asked people around me, and everybody said, yeah, they said active shooter. So I was like, this is definitely not a drill. And even if it is, treat it like it's not.
Dominic,
Because it's serious.
let me ask you another question before we let you go. Moving forward, how safe do you feel there at FSU, and do you plan to change any behavior from now on?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely one of those events where you really can't plan for. I've never in a million years would have thought this would happen at FSU. And I think Tallahassee as a whole took care of the situation very well. I'm pretty sure they got police from Jacksonville from what I've heard. So they got the SWAT team here. They made all of us feel safe. But yeah, I think, going forward, there's probably going to be more safety protocols taken into place, which is definitely necessary. But yeah, this is just something you can't plan for.
Yeah, you said SWAT moved in. Are you still gathered with a group of students right now?
Yeah, so I think I'm outside of the beach, and I'm not sure if they're letting me go back to my dorm, but that would be towards Central Campus, and I think they said not to do that. So I think I'm kind of just walking, let me see. Yeah, I think I'm getting on a bus right now as we speak, and I'm about to see where it takes us. 1 second. Excuse me, where does this bus go to? The Civic Center. Okay, so they're taking us to the Civic Center.
Yeah, the Civic Center, our understanding is that is the family reunification point.
Yeah, about how many students are you surrounded by right now?
I'm currently in a bus with about 15 people. So I think they're just trying to get us all in one place. That's their goal.
Okay, so this is it's the Donald Tucker Civic Center. That is the student reunification point. Earlier we saw some shots of people waiting to get in there, and the buses are taking students there. Okay, because we heard earlier from another student that she couldn't get her car. Her car was parked in an area that was cordoned off. So what they're doing is they're busing people or sending people over to the Donald Tucker Convention Center there on Civic Center there on campus, and that will be the reunification area for students with their friends, family members. I'm sure they'll be able to, make a phone call from there and let their family know that they're okay. As I mentioned earlier, there are so many students from South Florida that attend college in Tallahassee at Florida State University, and also the community college there nearby. A lot of them will transfer after 2 years. So we have a very strong connection between South Florida and Tallahassee. Dominic Mancuso, we're going to let you go. Thank you very much for sharing your experience.
Thank you very much, guys.
And good job staying calm, and thank you.
Okay, I'm just receiving word. We have Blake Leonard, an FSU student. Blake, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. And first, I just want to acknowledge, we're so sorry that this is something that you are going through right now. Just describe where you were when you first received reports of a potential active shooter, because we're seeing some video right now of a few students just running across the street. But where were you? What were you going through?
I was kind of in the vicinity of the Union. I was at the care building, leaving the care building, and I heard about 12 shots go off. In my head, I thought it was construction at first. Until I looked behind me, I started seeing people running from the Union, towards my direction. And then I heard another 12 or 15 shots go off. So I started running away from there too. And I was just trying to get off campus as quick as possible because I didn't know where the shooter was going to go or anything like that. So I just heard it from the Union area, and it was relatively close enough to where I could hear the shot go off and then the impact hit. So it was it sounded like it was two shots, but it was just a bullet shooting and then hitting something. So I was just trying to get out of there as quick as possible.
And so, Blake, you're the first person we've spoken with that actually physically heard shots fired. You say you heard 12 to 15 shots. This allegedly all happened in the student union area. How close were you to the student union?
I mean, it was about 30 shots total. I think it was 12 in the first series of shots. Then probably about a 12 seconds period of silence, and then another 12 or 15 shots.
Wow.
And I was probably from the Union itself, I was probably around 500, 400 feet away.
Okay, so potentially as many as 30 plus shots. How close were you to the Union?
To the Union, I mean, the Union's really big, so I don't know, like, maybe like approximation of the shooter, but from the Union itself, I was probably around like a football field length away.
A football field length away. And you ran to your car, or where were you running to?
I was just running in the direction that everybody else was running, trying to get out of there. And then once I felt like I was at a safe enough distance, I went to my car to get off campus because I didn't know, where that shooter was going to be going or anything like that.
Did you physically see a shooter?
I did not. I didn't physically see a shooter or anybody get shot. I just heard the shots pretty close to me and saw people running, so I was trying to get out of there too.
And when you talk about running, about how many students were you running with? And was this sort of a stampede? Was everyone just sprinting, running in all different directions, or everybody running sort of in the same direction? And how many students would you say were running in the same direction as you?
I think it took a minute for everybody to process what was going on. So whenever I heard the shots, it was like a couple people running, maybe like 12 or 20 people running out of the direction. And then I looked back and I saw everybody flooding out of the Union and everything. And that was probably like a couple hundred people trying to get out of there.
And I want to pause just for a second because we were just, we see a shot of at least just 3 students running there. And then moments ago, we saw a blurred shot. It looked like maybe someone was being carried out of the vicinity. Their image was blurred, so we don't know the circumstances surrounding that shot. About what time did you hear those first shots, Blake?
I want to say around like noonish. I'm not entirely sure, but it was around, I think it was, probably around noon exactly.
And when you talk about running away from the scene, did you run to a car? Where was your safe spot?
Initially, it was my dorm, but there was more people running towards my dorm area too. So I decided I was just going to go to my car and leave.
Mm-hmm. And where are you now?
I'm off campus. I'm completely off campus. I'm probably like 7 miles off campus.
Yeah. What are you hearing from other students, maybe through X or through text or WhatsApp? What are other students saying?
I don't know anybody personally that was over there. I just hear a lot of like in the group chats making sure everybody was safe and everything. And just like rumors, but nothing that like I can confirm or deny. So.
Sure, nothing that can be substantiated at this point. We hear of active shooter situations happening all over the United States, but it must just take a toll different when it happens on your own campus.
Yeah, definitely. It's really surreal. Like, it's still registering to me. Just to think that, like, I'm usually at the Union at that exact time too. So it's just like surreal to me to think that like I could have woke up and gone to class today or anything like that, and my friends could have been going to class and their life be taken or just injured or anything like that. It's very surreal to think about.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Shirley, you've been in touch with your family right now. What was the first conversation you had when you talked to your loved ones?
I called my grandma as I was like running from the area, and I was like, "Hey, there's a shooting." And she was just making sure I was okay, trying to just get as much information as possible, make sure I was safe.
I want to go now to an FSU student. Emily, can you hear me, Emily?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, Emily, thank you so much for being with us. And I just want to clarify, my producer was sharing with me that you actually were running from the shooter. Is that correct? And can you describe what happened?
Yes, ma'am, it was. My roommate and I were walking past Bellany and the Union where the shooting happened. We were heading to College of Music, and we saw people running. One of the workers was yelling to everyone to run somewhere safe, like run, run, run. And the girl passed by us saying, "The police are coming, there's a gun." And we heard the word gun and we started sprinting away.
And did you actually hear shots fired as well?
We think we might have heard something, but there's always construction, so we kind of played it off. We didn't think too much of it.
You thought the potential additional sound you were hearing was just sort of muffled in with the construction?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you actually see a shooter?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And when you were leaving the scene, describe about how many students were also sort of running away from the active scene.
A lot of people. I would say that my roommate and I were among the first people that started running, and then a whole entourage of people started running behind us.
And where did you run to?
We ran just away. We just ran as far as we could until we were out of breath, and now we are safe.
Mm-hmm. And when did you finally get to a place that you considered safe? Where was that place?
We are currently still there now, so I don't want to disclose my location,
Sure.
but we ran for quite a few minutes.
Describe the first conversations after getting to your safe place that you had with friends, family, or loved ones.
So I called my mom as we were walking, and I said that someone said there's a gun. We had no idea even where it was at. And then I got off the phone with my mom, and I started talking with my friends that are with me right now, and we were just freaking out. We were like, for some of us, this isn't our first experience in a shooting, but, you know, every time it just is so difficult. And we were shaking, our legs felt numb, and we were just completely shocked.
How close were you in proximity to this student union area where the alleged shooter was?
At the time, apparently when the first shots were fired, very, very close. I would say probably around 20 feet.
That has to be just riveting for you to process now that you know that you're safe and that the alleged shooter is in custody, to know that you were so very close to what was happening.
Yes, ma'am. God is so very good.
And are you hearing from any other students through text messages or WhatsApp app messages, or what are the other students saying?
Yes, ma'am. I think there might be a lot of rumors going around. I think everyone's in a state of panic. I'm hearing a lot of different reports regarding how many people are injured, how many people are dead, and how many shooters there are. Seems to be a lot of paranoia and confusion.
Sure. Well, I can confirm for you that there was reports of one active shooter that is in custody, and that person was, we're hearing, allegedly shot by police. A total of 4 people in the hospital being treated for their injuries. We've also been hearing reports that students would receive a sort of all clear message when the situation was deemed safe, and not to answer their doors until they hear that all clear. That the safe word is what they're calling it. Have you received any notification of a safe word?
Yes, ma'am, we have, through FSU email.
Okay, so students, that's new information for us, have received the safe word, that it is clear, even though we know.
My bad. We received a safe word for entering in buildings, not an all clear. I'm so sorry.
Gotcha. Okay, so you received a safe word that they will alert you when it is all clear, but you have not received that all clear at this point.
Yes, ma'am. We are still in shelter.
Okay, my producer communicating with me now, saying that we have sound from a student who saw the whole thing unfold.
I was parking my car, walking back, and as I was walking back, I see these group of girls crying, really upset, walking back from the student union, told me they heard gunshots, and they just ran and came back to their apartment where I was walking to. So I'm scared for my friends. I'm making sure I'm checking up on them, and I just hope everyone's okay and this gets handled soon. I just feel awful for the students on there having to go through these emotions right now, dealing with scared for their lives, honestly.